So once we've completed the 3 flagging quests and the Gianthold Tor, Sidoni will give us a reward, and this includes a list of named items. So I'm just going to take a look at some of these named items with you and pick one out. Uh, so this is a obviously I think this dropped for us actually in one of the quests. So this is a uh, adamantine lined hand wraps, useful for a monk. Not super powerful for the level, but if a monk doesn't have a way to bypass adamantine, they may want this just for that purpose. This is a scimitar. Scimitars are one of the sort of favored weapons of rangers. They're able to use scimitars like lighter weapons and use their dexterity modifier for it. And one of the big things about scimitars is that they have a better critical profile than most weapons. So you can see it's 18 to 20 instead of like 19 to 20, which our greatsword is. This is a light mace, not something probably I've ever seen used. This used to be once upon a time a pretty good item, but like who would want an item that gives you -3 intelligence, -3 wisdom, and +6 strength? So this item is definitely one to pass on. Jewel Cloak is still a very useful item. It gives you a competence bonus to acid, cold, and fire, right? And so that stacks with the normal bonus, which I believe is a equipment bonus, the standard one. So it's the competence bonus is sort of like an unusual stacking elemental resistance. So that's useful. But then it has a special spell absorption. So if you're going up against a really tough spellcaster, you can just swap this cloak on real quick and absorb the first 5 spells against you. And sometimes against a tough fight, like where they have disintegrate or some other tough spell like that, it's just enough to kind of get you past a tough fight. So this is a high item I seriously would consider. Dream Visor, again, it's one of these items that uh, back in the day there weren't items that had this attack and damage roll, but this is basically like Korthos level, +1 attack and damage. So uh, deadly and accuracy. I have a deadly +5 item, so that's much better than this. So I'll pass on that for sure. And Quiver of Poison. Um, it stores 3 types of arrows up to 1,000, and it adds 1d2 to ranged attacks. So when we whip out the bow, it would give us an additional 1d2. So this is again probably the 2 items I'd look at there would be those 2 items. The other thing it gives you is these relics. So relics are used for crafting armor, right? So that's a consideration. So I'm going to just pause it real quick and we'll go take a look at some of the armor options. So if we talk to Horiton, the Giantcraft apprentice, uh, he'll show us what's there. And if I take a look at this armor, so I have 12, so I could actually buy this right now. And this will give us some armor with Haste Guard, Vengeful, and Relentless Fury. Now, Relentless Fury is really good. Every time you kill an enemy, it provides a 5% bonus to damage for 30 seconds. So it's a very good item. But right now I can't really use it because I need my uh, I need my other item. We'll look at this Black Scale Smith. He's typically the male or the armor for melees. And so if we look at he has armor as well. A little better than the other armor, but the thing is, it requires Dragon Scale, so that means you have to do those optionals in Gianthold Tor. And then they have some other upgrades. This is actually at higher levels, Epic. So, again, I'd probably recommend you don't go down that path. The armor's not so good that you really need it. If you're going to do it, you probably want to get this armor, which you probably get from your normal hard, your normal run. I got enough to get it from my normal run. Um, if you have a deathblock item, I think the Relentless Fury is definitely a good DPS item to have. Uh, but I mean, you probably always have that 5% bonus going all the time. But I'm going to pass on it. And I'm just going to pause while I go back to Sidoni. And so I don't really think I need the dragon relics for anything right now. So, it's between the jewel cloak and the quiver, and they're probably both good. So the quiver, I mean, right now it's always full of arrows, so it's not really doing what I originally I got it to basically accumulate some arrows and store some arrows. So I think what I'm going to do is actually switch to this and get 1,000 returning arrows. I mean, I'll continue to get some stacked, but I'll get 1,000 returning arrows from House Deneth. So I'm going to take this, and then probably next time I'll take the cloak. And let me put this on auto gather, and I'll put this here. And let's see, I've got some Deneth's sturdy arrows. I'm down to 100. It's down to 100. I'll put those in here. And then let's see. What do I want to accumulate? Maybe +5, +5, plus. Probably the +5 arrows are probably the most common, so I'm just going to put those in there and accumulate those. Let's see, do I have more? Yep. So I'll put those in there for now, and then I guess I could have 3 things. So what else do I want? How about these axiomatic arrows, since I'm lawful? +4, +5 axiomatic arrows. And so it'll just accumulate these, and I'm going to go and refill my arrows with 1,000 of these. And then when I do a range attack, I get just a little more damage. I could use that. My DPS is really bad on ranged, and I have to use it every so often. So that is basically the arc reward. And now the last thing we want to do is repeat it and start again. And now I'm going to run it on hard. So that's the Gianthold reward list for completing the Gianthold Tor flagging and quest.